What is up, YouTube? This is Hyperion, your chef with the cat, back again for another video. Now, a while back, Konami gave us the adjusted ban list and a potential sight of what we may have to see. They also gave us a notice that we should expect to see the real ban list in about a month or two. So, given that we now have an actual time period for when this may be happening, I figured it only made sense for me to go ahead and make a little prediction video. And, well, yeah, this is what I'm predicting. First thing I want to go ahead and mention is that I do expect them to hold on to the adjusted ban list. I don't see any reason for them to get rid of that, so those changes I definitely see crossing over into the real ban list, but yeah, I just figured I'd go ahead and mention that one, so let's get on to the things that warrant in that. So first are things I think need to be restricted, that need to go onto the ban list, and the first of which, this is based purely on what decks are out now, is Cosmo Dark Destroyer. Now, Cosmos have been a fairly formidable deck since they came out, but it wasn't really until Dark Destroyer came about that they became a real powerhouse threat. Some people still argue that they're not that good, but I still feel like they at least need some kind of a hit. And I can see a few cards being hit with them. The most likely one is Cosmo Dark Destroyer. I mean, it's a pretty decent 3K, and it does allow for a lot of things to be special summoned if it gets if it gets taken out. Plus, its ability to destroy a card, a monster, is still pretty good, and it's immune to the opponent's card effects, or at least being targeted by them. So for that reason, it just feels like too good of a card, and really does need to at least get hit to like 2, maybe even 1. I don't know. I feel like maybe 1 would be a good hit for this guy. Next up is Cosmo Farm Girl. This is the incredibly versatile search card. I mean, not only can it search, but it can also special summon the monster that it searches out, just by banishing itself. And it really, like, the 500 life point for the search cost is minimal, honestly. This deck tried to go off a life point based cost system, but really, it's so minimal that it hardly even registers. So I could see Farm Girl maybe going to 2, I mean, nothing too extreme for Farm Girl. While she is good, I could see 1 justified, but I still see it mainly being like a card put to 2. And finally, I could see Emergency Teleport also being hit for them, again, just because it searches out Farm Girl, as well as the other ones like Tin Man and Straw Man. So I could easily see them getting hit for that very, I could see Emergency Teleport being hit just because it gets to them so easily. And the banishing at the end phase thing isn't really that big of a thing. It's not that big of a cost, because anyone who plays Emergency Teleport can easily take care of the monster that they bring out by the time that their turn ends. Now, another interesting thing about this is that this would actually hit Super Quantums, as the water attribute monster for them is also a Psychic type. So I don't know if that'll factor in with Wing Raiders coming out, if they'll want to hit this. If they do, I could see it maybe only being like put to 2 or something, but I feel like this is more like a wild card may get hit. I don't know. I honestly doubt it. Next up, we're moving on to the Pendulum aspect of things, since Pendulums are such a powerful deck, and the first one I can see going is Wavering Eyes. Now, I love Wavering Eyes to death, but that's only because I myself use it. But at the same time, I do have to acknowledge that this is a ridiculously good card. I could see this card either going to 1 or just being insta-banned, because it is ridiculously good. I mean, at the very least, since it's always played in a Pendulum deck, it'll be a search and 500 point burn. However, if you're playing against another Pendulum deck, then you can get upwards of the full effect, which is 2 searches, a banish, and burn damage, which is just ridiculous, and a quick play spell too. So as soon as your opponent even sets their other Pendulum Scales, you can just go ahead and just inflict just plus for days off this card. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I could easily see this card potentially getting banned. Optimistically, I'm saying 1, but I'm not getting my fingers crossed. Next up is Magispector Unicorn Kirin. Now, everyone was originally thinking Magispector was going to be like a big threat, like a very big power deck when they came out. And they kind of just fell under the radar, honestly. Like, no one really played them that much. I mean, there was a few people, yeah, but they weren't that prominent. If anything, they were usually just teched into other things like Pepe, so who knows, maybe this will be the return of Magispectors, and we actually get to see them be their own deck. However, the techs that were put in there were kind of annoying. It was mostly because of this guy. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with Kieran's bullshit, he's, like all Magispectors, immune to being targeted and destroyed by opponent's card effects, and then during either player's turn, you can also target a Pendulum monster in your monster zone, like him, and one monster your opponent controls, and then compulse them both. It's just ridiculous that you can do that, and especially in a deck that utilizes the Pendulum mechanic, that's not even really a cost. That's just okay, here, you have a free compulse once per turn with 2,000 attack. So, yeah. Plus, having a fairly low pendulum scale is pretty good. A lot of them, too, tend to have higher scales, so having some lower ones is also pretty good. And the last one I can see is honestly probably the most specific of them, and that would be Wisdom Eye Magician. Just because he is such an amazingly good pendulum monster, he can set up a pendulum scale, searchable with odd eyes, and he also sets you up for a pendulum summon, because he will go to the extra deck immediately after his effect resolves. The only catch is that he can only grab Magician Pendulum monsters, so he's really only more for the Magician Pendulum deck. But if you can find an interesting way to tech them into any other deck, then he can be really, really powerful. That being said, I can't see him being hit to any more than like 2, maybe. I think 1 would be kind of harsh, but it could happen. I don't know. Oh, right, and I can also see Kieran about to say going to maybe 2 or 1. Sorry, I forgot to cover that. Now, this next one is very much a wild card. I do not see this happening, and I will explain why. But I also can kind of see a necessity to limit Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. And I do mean limit him. So put him to 1. And the reason for that is this guy made Atlanteans relevant again. And I don't think I need to remind you guys that they once ruled the meta. In that small period where rank 7 decks were king and just before Dragon Rulers came out, Mermails were the deck to use. Even I messed around with them for a bit, and they were extremely powerful. And then Neptibus just made both the Atlanteans and Mermails relevant again in one fell swoop. Honestly, the things that he can do is just ridiculous. Because of that, they're probably the most powerful deck in the meta again, since Pepe has now been taken care of. That being said, I honestly do not see them doing this. Why? He was in Bosch, and Bosch is still the most current set, and Konami is still making their money off of it. So again, this is just kind of it would be interesting if they did this, but I don't see it happening. Now, another interesting one, I'm going to have to kind of skip over this one, is Traptrix Rafflesia. Again, an extremely good card, and one that just came out, so I don't see them hitting it. This card is, however, the reason why I think we're finally going to see Bottomless get banned. This has already been, universally acknowledged as a really good card, so why get rid of it? Because now it is playable from the deck, thanks to Rafflesia's effect. Again, they're not going to hit Rafflesia because Bosch is still the most relevant set. They're still making a ton of money off of it. There's no reason to hit the deck directly. However, they will probably get rid of Bottomless in order to say, okay guys, you can still have Rafflesia, but you need to play our other Trap Hole Trap cards. So go get some of those. And the last thing I can see going on the ban list is Tellarknight Trigger. This is mostly because I feel like Tellarknights got off way too easy last ban list. They need something to knock them back into place, and I for one say, get rid of their boss monster. Yeah, ban him. Just, no, he's too good, he is ridiculous, he recycles the back row, he opens up the field for bullshit plays, just, I hate him, get rid of him now, please. I cannot tell you guys how much I hate Tellarknights. Anywho, so now we're going to move on to the part of the list where I cover what I think needs to come off of the ban list. This part's going to be a lot faster, so I'm just going to kind of brush through these things. You've heard them all before. So, Zenmaegi, Hornet, Infernity Archfiend, Stratus. Everyone wants these things put up to at least one slot higher than they are, and I don't see any reason why they can't be. Zenmagi, water... What exactly are wind-ups doing? Hornet, what are Inzektor's doing? Archfiend, is one more search really going to hurt them? Stratos, same. They already have a million searches, and with Rhoda being put to 1, they could use, just a little something. I see no reason for any of these. I know there are arguments against all of them, but honestly, with how the game is now, I don't feel like it's going to make a damn bit of difference. It's going to give them that false hope, and of course, then we're going to keep on hearing how they need to go up to, 1 more until they're finally all up to 3, but for now, I don't see any real harm in putting them, 1 slot higher. Next up is Granmole. Now, again, for the same reason as the last ones, I don't see why this guy is still at 1. He takes up your normal summon, and even if you do Pendulum Summon him out, if you're going to be Pendulum Summoning this guy, you need to be able to get off your battle phase, and honestly, if you just want to compulse a monster along with someone else, just use Kirin. He's literally a better Granmole in every way. So if we can have 3 Kirins, I think we can justifiably have 2 Granmoles, potentially even 3. Honestly, I don't see this guy being used in literally anything. Free Granmole, please. Next up is Rescue Rabbit. This card, for a while, I felt had a good, solid reason to come back. Now it's more 50-50 with me, since we do have, the Draco Overlords and the Draco Slayers, and yeah, with them out, I can easily see the justification for why Rescue Rabbit is still at 1. So, I'm kind of switching my opinion on this one. I have been prompting for him to come back for a while, but given what's out there now, yeah, I don't see him coming back anymore. So, this is probably the last time you'll ever see Rescue Rabbit on this. Honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and just get rid of him. Now, the next 2 are kind of wild cards in a unique way. It's Dark Magician of Chaos and Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End. Now, for those of you guys who are unaware, or otherwise known as live under a rock, these 2 cards have gotten erratas in the OCG and have been re-released to 1, and shocker, have not changed the game at all. We, over in the TCG, have not received these erratas. These cards are still banned, and it is bullshit. I don't care what pack it comes out, you guys can do it in the Millennial pack that's coming out soon. Just announce that you're re-releasing these guys with their erratas and put them back up to 1. There is no real reason. They're not going to change the game. I don't care what anyone tells you. They're not. I was openly against Dark Magician of Chaos for the longest time. Then I saw how his effect works, and it's like, no, that's actually kind of fair. And realistically, what's he going to do? He has no means of special summoning himself, so we need someone else to do it. Most good pendulum scales only go up to 8, or are specific. So, yeah, no, neither one of these guys is going to make that big of an impact on the game. Just errata them and bring them back to 1. Let the TCG have what the OCG has to play with. Please. Now, this next one is kind of like Rescue Rabbit, but a little different. So, as you guys know, I'm an avid Unity fan. It is my favorite deck. I will probably never get rid of it, and or at the very least, it'll be the last one I get rid of, and it'll be when I finally quit Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever. Now, a lot of people that play Unity are saying just give us 3 again. And I wouldn't mind that personally, except one problem. Felgrand. Felgrand is going to become a thing. And Felgrand makes this card busted. Like Dragon Rulers did, which originally got this card banned. So, honestly, I do not want to see this card lose, any of its copies again, so I'm going to say just leave it at 2. I will not look a gift horse in the mouth if this card goes at 3. I just hope it doesn't come back to bite us in the ass later. Because I would like to be able to hold on to my Ravines. It's kind of an essential... It's my search card. I kind of need it. Now, the next 2 are cards I've been arguing for forever. It's Heavy Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster. We need some mass back row hate. I realize there's not a whole lot of it, but pendulums are still a thing. Back row, while rare, is still a thing in certain decks. We just need to be able to deal with it. I don't care which one. There are arguments for both sides. Harpies is broken because it protects your side. Heavy's busted because it sends your pendulums to the grave and sets you over a pendulum summon. I don't care which one. Put one of them to 1. It does not even matter to me. Just pick one and give it to us. And finally, Solemn Judgment. Now, Solemn Judgment, I feel like can come back just because of all the ridiculous overpowered Solemn cards that we already have. I mean, really, what does Solemn Judgment do that, say, Solemn Strike doesn't do? Or let's actually pull all those up, shall we? Just for shits and giggles. Alright, those two don't count. Solemn Strike costs less life points, negates the summon or monster effect, destroys the card. Solemn Scolding, 3,000 life points. The only catch, that has to be the only card in your set spell trap zone, but it literally does the same thing otherwise. Solemn Warning, you already know how good this card is. We have plenty of other broken-ass Solemn cards. Honestly, I don't see why this card can't go back up to 1. I mean, it's half your life points, so unless you're, like, a decent ways through the game, you could be paying a lot of life points just to negate one thing, so... I don't know, I don't feel like it's as strong of a card as it used to be. And there are a lot of other really powerful counter traps, so if you're going to tell me it's because the counter trap Pendulum Monster is a thing, I'm going to say bullshit, because there's plenty of other far more powerful counter traps at this point in the game that Solemn Judgment isn't doing anything. But that's all I got for you guys for this week. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are these good cards to get hit? What do you think they should go to? And what cards do you guys think need to get hit or come off the ban list, and why? Again, be sure to let me know your comments down, your thoughts down in the comments below. You can also like my page on Facebook to let me know your thoughts and opinions there. Of course, don't forget to also like this video and subscribe to my channel for further content. And until next time, peace.